You're listening to The World at 8 with Lynn Mozart. The World at 8, the number one in nationalist news.
Headlines today, 30th of November. An asylum seeker who raped two little British girls is fighting for deportation. Salford British National Party branch leader Mr Gary Tumulty and partner Kay Pollitt stirred up the crowd in Salford. Teachers in the UK put their pockets first by joining strike action instead of tending class. Eurozone ministers have little more than 1 week to save the ill-fated euro. The Muslim Brotherhood is claiming it has the majority of the vote in Egypt. And Turkish security forces have shot dead a man in Istanbul. UK News. An asylum seeker who raped two little British girls is fighting deportation under the Human Rights Act to a family life. 39-year-old William Danger is fighting to stay in Britain after this terrible attack on children. One spokesperson has said that one of the girls that was raped was only 4 years old. William Danger was allowed to stay in Britain to rape two children even after he had raped a teenage girl 10 years earlier. Danger was posing as a Jehovah's Witness. As soon as this beast was allowed out of jail, his passport was apparently lost and he was able to stall the deportation order and fight his case by having a child with a younger woman. He went straight for the ropes, as the saying goes. In these cases, the ropes are always the Human Rights Act to a family life. In the last similar asylum seeker's case in Britain relating to the Human Rights Act, the asylum seeker was granted the right to a family life because he owned a cat. Salford British National Party branch leader Mr Gary Tumulty and partner Kay Pollitt stirred up the crowd at a British National Party meeting in Salford last night. Gary acquired a letter intercepted by a patriot allowing the asylum seekers in Britain £120 worth of electricity and £60 worth of gas regularly, which is double that of any British pensioner who is living in Britain today. Far-left anarchists and the Labour Council in Salford are enraged that the information has fallen into the hands of the British National Party. This letter, including information from the Freedom of Information Act, will be expected on everyone's doormat in the country, one party spokesman has said, and another has added, this evidence is 100% gold dust in the fight against our Marxist enemies. Two asylum seekers from Cameroon conned their way into jobs in a Bristol NHS hospital and illegally earned more than £150,000. Rosemary Gunjo and Florence G were part of an asylum-seeking criminal gang who used forced driving licences and passports to con their way into jobs which are meant for British people. They were also both in training courses that cost the National Health Service thousands of pounds. Teachers in the UK put their pockets first by joining strike action instead of tending class. The hardest hit children that were hit by the strikes today are the children who go to state-run schools. Around 58% of the state-run schools closed in the UK because of this selfish action. One parent who had to take a day off work to look after their children said, "Teachers in the UK are only interested in lining their pockets instead of putting the children first." Another report has said that around 13% of schools partially closed due to the teachers' union deciding to disrupt the education of the children and disrupt parents. This strike will cost the struggling UK economy £500 million. Euro News. Eurozone ministers have little more than 1 week to save the ill-fated euro by giving its bailout fund a big cash injection. Ministers may also need help from the International Monetary Fund to keep the stability programme from going under. Greece has been offered an €8 billion rescue boost. The ministers in the Eurozone have said that this could stop Greece from going under. Although Euro ministers are keen to help Greece, there is much doubt whether they can save the euro. Italy, a country that has 5 times more debt, is failing on the bond markets, and as Europe's third largest economy, it could be heading for a bailout. World News. The Muslim Brotherhood is claiming it has the majority of the vote as the country went to the polls across Egypt this week. The Brotherhood, who claim they are ahead, would be an extremist's dream come true, said one reporter. This Brotherhood is said to be rife with hardline Muslim fanatics hell-bent on terrorism. The Muslim Brotherhood has said that its bloc is the real challenge against the present rule set down by the military. The former Ivory Coast president, Laurent Gbagbo, is to be put on trial for crimes against humanity. The former president will be appearing in the Criminal International Court in The Hague. A Pakistani government spokesperson has said that the peace conference in Bonn will not be attended by Pakistan unless security was tight. The peace conference set for next week is to discuss the situation in Afghanistan and possibly try and sort out the rift between Pakistan and NATO during a bombing strike that killed 24 Pakistanis. Turkish security forces have shot dead a man at a palace in the capital Istanbul. The man opened fire with a pump-action shotgun. 2 people were injured in the shooting until the Turkish guards opened fire. The man killed was a Libyan man who had gone on a shooting rampage in the courtyard of the palace. And now the weather for today and tomorrow. Generally outbreaks of rain and strong winds spreading southeast. This evening and tonight, a largely dry start across eastern UK. Outbreaks of rain and gale force winds across the north and west. Bands of squally rain then will push southeast across the country through the night, with severe gales developing across northern Scotland. Thursday, rain could linger across southern England. Elsewhere, a mixture of sunshine and showers, wintry across Scottish mountains. Severe gales at first across northern Scotland, with winds easing everywhere later. Thought for the day. I wish I was an asylum seeker this winter and not a pensioner. How much more can these councils and governments give to strangers in this country? Where on God's good earth can the English go to get such good deals from foreign governments? And finally, Pakistan has kicked the BBC off the airwaves. In a smack in the face for the Marxist left-wing propaganda machine, Pakistan was angry over the BBC and said it produced anti-Pakistani content. Don't worry, Pakistan. The BBC produces anti-British content every day. You have been listening to The World at 8. I am Lynn Mozar and I wish you all a very good night.
The World at 8, the #1 in nationalist news.